Hey mirror bitch, you looking real clean, you looking real bad, you looking like a queen. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you, but I got a new spot. It's brand new, and I got big dreams. I got big schemes. I never mediocre, about to take over, coming at you like rat tat 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 tat, but a rat tat 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 tat. Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Gill, and I'm the founder and chief power specialist at Power Publicity, where we work with creative brands to help them to share their stories, shift culture, and elevate their brands. And today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite shows, Insecure. Like, oh my gosh, y'all. I am so sad to see this show go. I cannot believe we are at the end of the road, that we have watched them for over 5 years, 5 seasons, and I'm really excited, anxious to see how everything is going to play out in this finale. But today we are going to talk about 6 marketing lessons that we can get from watching the show Insecure. Now, this is the first video in my Marketing Master Series where I dissect my favorite TV shows to find marketing and PR lessons in the most susceptible places. So with that, let's get into it. The first thing that I'm going to say is, if you're going to use the culture to promote your stuff, please be connected to the culture. Please understand the audience that you're talking to. Understand the nuances, where stuff came from. You know, don't just be out here throwing stuff all willy-nilly, because then you're going to look real crazy. And there's no bigger example of this than We Got Y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Watching Issa having to navigate We Got Y'all with predominantly all white co-workers who were out of touch, disconnected, and to be quite frankly, just straight out racist when they were serving black and brown kids. Now, it's several ways to just show up. So in season 3, where Issa was doing calls to figure out why some of the middle schools or that like programs dropped out of the program, they gave them a lot of feedback. They were saying your program is racist. You don't have any employees of color. The logo was racist, and we know that Issa's boss, I believe her name is Joanne. It's escaping me right now, but Joanne, she kept on saying like, "Well, it's my hand. It's me looking up the community. It's my hand." Can we talk about white savior complex? Okay, like that type of stuff is a big example of when brands just do not understand the people that they're serving, particularly if they're talking about diverse communities, they're trying to reach out to them and have just to sell their products and services. So the first lesson here is, if you are going to be using cultural elements that are popular in black and brown communities, please be connected, please understand, and really understand what your audience need. Because another thing that popped up with We Got Y'all was in the first season, when they was trying to figure out, you know, what are some good activities that we could take the kids to do with the kids, some places where they can go to kind of like, you know, expose them to different things. And the conversations they were having was just so like what where are y'all getting this from? And this is just a perfect example of like not knowing what their audience need. If it's one thing that you do want to make sure you do, is that you understand what your audience needs. That's how they're going to respond to you. And then honestly, that's how they're going to buy your products and also support your content. So the first lesson is, if you're going to use the culture to promote your stuff, please be connected. The second lesson is communicate clearly. I swear, this whole series, now, granted, we may not have a show if the people on this show knew how to actually effectively communicate. Like, the whole thing as far as Issa cheating and, you know, her not being happy in a relationship with Lawrence because he was on the couch for 2 years, unemployed and depressed and just not being able to do anything. That, and then when they circle back in season 4, around episode 6 or 7, where they had that conversation and they kind of reunited for a hot minute about what was really going on, you know, we probably wouldn't even had to go down that road of her cheating if it was a thing with Issa. Would have been like, hey, you know, this is not working out for me. You know, you're not yourself. Maybe we need to take some time. And even him coming to her saying support, but you know, like I said, we probably wouldn't have a show if these people knew how to properly communicate. But it is important that you effectively communicate with your audience. That kind of goes back to what I was saying in the first one, is knowing their language, knowing how to speak to them, knowing what is going to tap into their emotions, what resonates with them. And that takes time. That takes time by you doing the research, you having you building community with them, interacting with on a regular basis, so you can know how to effectively communicate with people. The third lesson is create a good plan. Now, I know that's probably kind of obvious, but no, really, that's a good one. Because when Issa finally decided, like, okay, I'm tired of we got y'all ain't got me, and I need to get myself and do some things that I want to do. And she embarked on her journey to have the block party. Now, in around season 3, episode 6, when she went down to the county office to kind of like, get permits and all that good stuff, like, sis ain't have no clue. Sis didn't have a clue on what to do. She was just like, like, I don't know if I need this permit, if I need that, if I need this, I need that. And then even just like, she just got so overwhelmed. So thankfully, Condola, and yes, y'all, I'm going to mostly use her proper name in this video. I don't think I'm gonna use any of the various names that we have called her over the past 2 years. But until Condola was able to come in and say, hey, like, this is how you structure a plan. Let's get our logistics together. Let's get our sponsorships. Let's get this, let's get that. And that's very important when it comes to creating a campaign. You have to think about all of the things you need, what are your goals? What are the strategies you're going to use it? What channels you're going to use? Who are the main people that you're targeting? And a very big important thing is a timeline, because from the time you actually may launch something up until like post-launch, when you're still going to continue to build your sales and momentum, you got to think all of those things out. You have to think all of those things out. And another key important thing is, like, you have to have key metrics into place so you know if it's successful or not. And that kind of goes into my next tip, which is know when to pivot. Sometimes you may launch something and the audience may not respond as well. They may not understand it. You may not have been as clear as you thought it was. Or the timing might not be right? Because there's so much stuff going on in the world that we don't know that by now. We don't have control over. So, like, you may put something out there, and because of the timing, people may not respond how you want to. And as I was just saying, that's why it's very important to have good metrics in place, because it will let you know if your thing is working. Now, I will say this. Sometimes it is a thing where you could pivot too soon. So there are instances where you may, release something and people are all over it, and like you sell out within a day, or you have like very big views, very big numbers, this, that, and the third. But sometimes it is not that way, and you're going to have a slow build. It just really depends. But this is where, if you have good metrics in place, it'll be able to tell you, like, okay, we've given this a good amount of time. We've given this a quarter. We give this a couple weeks. And it's time to try something different. This is very in particular when it comes to, like, if you are pitching yourself to get in the media, because you can have the best story. You can have really great angles, and journalists just will not respond. And that can be for a variety of reasons. It's because the timing is off. It could be that maybe your angle or your story really isn't that great, so you kind of have to go back to the drawing board and redo it. Or maybe you're targeting the wrong people. That's another thing. Like, maybe you're targeting the wrong people. And the way that this shows up on the show is, again, my boy Lawrence with that daggone Aunt Woot Woot. So in episode 7 in season 1, when he finally got the job, he was like, Lawrence wrong for Woot Woot for a long time. And like, listen, I get it. As an entrepreneur, like, when you really believe in your idea, you just want to keep pushing it forward. But it was to a point where, like, when he got the job, he was like, oh, well, I know more than what they do. Maybe I should just keep at it. And Issa was like, actually, you shouldn't. Because you need to regroup, get back on your feet, get yourself together, because you done had a rough time. And honestly, this could give you more space in order to come back with something better. And then, of course, like, you know, once he got into his company and he pitched it in season 2, he learned that honestly it wasn't that the idea was kind of dated. It really wasn't that great. So like knowing when to pivot is a key thing. My next lesson is show people why you are unique and why you are special. In season 4, I believe episode 1, Issa and Condola were talking about doing a mixer in order to get sponsors. And Issa was like super nervous. Like she had read some book about like, you know, how to like talk to people in order to persuade them and how you have to say their name. Like, you know, it's really nice to meet you, Condola. And I actually like this, Condola. And I think this would be really effective, Condola. And, you know, Condola just had this like, you know, Issa, it's okay. Just chill out, relax, be yourself. You know, share with them why this is meaningful. Share with them why this is something that is worthy, why that's something they should care about. And that's exactly what you should do when you're promoting your stuff. Is like give people a reason to care. That's another key thing even too when it comes to pitching your story to a journalist. The number one question you got to ask yourself is why should somebody care? Like, yes, it's great that you've been able to accomplish this great thing or you have this thing going on, but in the context of the greater news and media landscape, why would anybody care? And you really have to do your job and tell your story well so people will care. My next tip is to find the right sponsorships. Find the right sponsorships and find the right partnerships. Really find the right partnerships. Now, this showed up particularly in season 5 around episode 2 or 3 when she did that fashion show over Crenshaw, and, you know, they had the whole issue with the company. They feeling like things were a little bit too edgy and things of that nature. And, you know, Crenshaw felt like, well, you ain't really right off to me about work and this, that, and the third. And he basically went rogue. Now, the great thing is that in his case, it actually worked out. You know, the company responded really well. But what if it hadn't worked out? What if they would have felt like, this is too much, and, you know, it wasn't like Crenshaw communicated his plans to Issa. That goes back to our earlier lesson, right? Effectively communicating with people. He just did it. So that could have really backfired. And then it's interesting because, like, you know, after he kind of gave her the cold shoulder after that, then he comes back and around episode 8 and say, hey, I want to partner with you. We can do all these great things in the city and do all of this stuff. And, you know, Issa is kind of on the fence, rightfully so, about doing that because who you partner with really makes a difference. And how this shows up in common every day today when it comes to marketing and PR is influencers. Like that's a very popular form of marketing right now. But when it comes to that, you really have to make sure you're working with the right people. Do these people have an audience that reflects your target audience? Do these people, is their brand is aligned with yours? Do your values align? Because otherwise, you will work with a person and one, it may not be effective. Or two, you may find out like, you know, their brand is just like totally out there and it's a big mismatch. So you have to make sure you have the right partnerships when you're marketing your stuff. And another good way this actually just showed up in the show is with the block party. At the mixer, Issa was able to find some really great people that understood the mission, they understood the purpose, and obviously we got the fabulous block party that we did in season 4. So this is all of my tips from my marketing lessons from Insecure. I thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like more marketing tips, you can download my freebie at my website. It is called The 8 Tips to Creating a Powerful Campaign. You can get that at powerpublicityllc.com. I thank you so again for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!